Well, we started getting hits in 71, and we carried on getting hits till 76. 76, 77, we went over to the States for 2 years touring there. And when we came back, the whole sort of scene had changed, you know, and it's really been a case of us climbing the ladder all over again and gigging everywhere and anywhere all over Europe.
Yeah. You had a reputation for, of course, the screamy voice that you had. How difficult is it, in fact, to keep this voice of yours going for so long?
Very difficult. As we get older, you know, we have to pickle ourselves in alcohol to keep it, keep fit.
Right. You had this image of sort of high heels, long hair, and so on and so forth. Where, in fact, did it come from? Whose idea was it, or was it accidental?
Well, we actually started out, when we first started out, well, we came to prominence in the public eye. We were the first skinhead band, and we found ourselves not being able to get much exposure or many live gigs, and so we had to sort of just take the image of that extension further. We just made it more colourful, that's all. We got our first hit record, went on Top of the Pops for the first time, and overnight everybody knew us, you know, for this crazy image that we'd been doing actually for 5 years.
You say skinheads, Dave. In fact, you were quite sort of popular, and well, you began to be famous for your for your hairstyles. I mean, when you used to have the fringe and the long hair.
Right.
Were you trying to set trends then?
No, it was just a formulation of what was going on. Thing is, you see, it goes back right to the early days when you first start to play, you know, and you first form your group. There is something possibly that sticks out about you when you're on stage, something that gets a reaction. Maybe you'll think about it afterwards and say, oh, I think I'll stick to that, or something, and then it formulates from that. But it wasn't actually pre-planned as such, like, we'll look like this and go on and do that, you know. But when we actually did the skinhead thing, that we actually did, you know what I mean? That was something that was going on in Wolverhampton, and that was a look, you know what I mean? That was what young people were looking like at the time. But after that, we veered off into our individual things again. Basically what we were before the skinhead period.
The fact that you were a skinhead band, I mean, was that causing rival factions and any trouble at gigs and so on?
Well, it was helping us to a certain degree because we were sticking out amongst all the other bands that got long hair, you know. There was a lot of sort of hip bands about at the time, you know, playing heavyish music and whatnot, you know. And we were the one band at a turn up where they'd say, oh, we know who you are, in there, you know. We were always put in the back hall, you know, somewhere, you know. Whereas the big groups would get the, you know, the nice stage and all the rest of it, you know. But the thing about the Skins that's probably the part which was a bit awkward was, you know, publicity-wise, you know, you'd always get associations with probably somebody trouble and whatnot, you know, but most of the Skins that we had at the gigs were all right, you know. But eventually we grew our hair and then we had hit records and we took on from there, you know.
Of course, the mods and the skinheads have come back in a small way.
Well, they're all back, really, yeah. There's everything now.
Would this influence you to change in any way?
No, because we're on top of the whole situation at the moment, where as the Skins and punks and whatever you like are all part and parcel of what we were before. Because we've all been punks and skinheads and everything. So when they come and see us, they ain't got to be any particular fashion. They can be anything.
Now, those pop songs like Mama We're All Crazy Now and so on, they've all seemed to have gone. I mean, your music's a little different now. Although you haven't sort of left the circuit at all. You've been touring around, but...
We've been touring solid, yeah.
What have you been doing exactly?
Mainly universities, clubs, ballrooms. We play behind the Iron Curtain. We've been playing anywhere and everywhere that'd have us, but since we did the Reading Festival last summer, we went down a storm on that. You know, we were only added to the bill at the very last minute. We went down really great, and the media, the radio, the newspapers started to take notice of us again, and people realised that we were still alive and kicking, and since then it's been an uphill climb for us, and with the current record in the charts, you know, we're packing out the concert halls again now.
This must have put you in the heavy metal bag, though, the fact that you did Reading Festival.
Well, yes, we are getting a lot of heavy metal people coming to see us now, but we're not pigeonholed into one faction. We get all sorts of people coming to see us, but it's good for us as well. We're not only getting the old fans, but we're getting a much younger market as well, which is great.
And this is one of those concerts, Dave, that have, well, in fact, it's been the fastest selling concert in Hanley for quite some time. In fact, you've sold out.
Oh, great.
What sort of a crowd do you think you'll be expecting tonight? Will they be expecting those old records?
Magic crowd. They're all magic crowds. Now, Stoke's a nice place to play, you know, around here, and it's sort of good memories for us. I mean, I think it's been about probably 6 years or more since we played here, this particular hall as well. I mean, at the time we played before, we were having hits then, you know, and obviously it's been a long time because we couldn't have done it a few years ago on account as we couldn't have sold it out, you know. But I think there'll be a lot of old people turning up, you know, and I think once again the new people are very much welcome, you know.
And the new single, Bringing the House Down, where that must be a live single, obviously. Where was that recorded?
Live-ish thought, yeah. Well, it was recorded at Portland Studios in London, and we recorded it in the bog to get a sort of a live feel. Yeah. So we all took the gear in the bog, you see. Call it bog rock. And we had a bit of a laugh, you know, because we wanted to recreate something. We had an EP out before called When I'm Dancing, and it had an audience singing along. And it got a good feel about it on the radio, I thought, you know, that's some sort of direction. So the next song that came along was with that in mind. But how do you recreate a live feel at Reading when there's 40,000 people there? So we thought we'd go in the bog and sound like 40,000 people. Or a racket.
Yeah. What about films like, of course you've done Flame. Will there be any more films in the near future?
No.
Films? What
about that?
No, we shan't be doing any more films.
You don't
for a long
seem
time.
to like
Ben
film.
Gordon?
We liked making the film. It was all right at the time, you know, but it took such a long time actually filming it, doing the soundtrack. We actually went out on the road and promoted it for 3 months, you know, making appearances at cinemas and that. Took a hell of a long time out of our recording and playing live as a group, period, you know. We had to spend sort of 9 months overall on that movie, and it was just too long a time.
So was it financially worth it then?
No, not to us it wasn't. I mean, the film was a moderate success in terms of pulling people to see it, you know, but financially we didn't make any great fortune out of it.
Now you've had over...
Sold a lot of records
Yeah.
from the soundtrack of the movie. We had a gold album from it. I mean, if you count that as making money, of course we made money from the record point of view of it.
They showed a bit of it on Tis Was on Saturday morning, which we did, you know, the other day. And it was quite good to see it, you know, just little bits of it, you know. Because it's quite a good film, and it's something...
In fact, a lot of the people who were in the film at the time were unknown and have now become big actors, big star actors. Tom Conti, he was in our movie. He was unknown at that time, and now he's one of the biggest stars on Broadway in America.
Of course he's in the West End at the moment.
Yeah, he's in the West End at the moment, yeah.
Oh, but you don't mention our film now.
Well, there we go.
There was Alan Lang, Donny Does His husband. He's always playing
He
rough
was
parts.
He was
Yeah.
Ken Colley, who's also becoming a real big actor
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. All right, now you've had 20 top singles, and you obviously must have made quite a bit of money from that, and you're living quite comfortably. I
No.
believe...
Next.
I believe that you were living next door to a girls' school, Dave.
You
yourself.
believe right? In Solihull.
And you're
I don't live
still
there
living
now.
What was the reason for moving there?
What?
Money.
What was it like living next door to a girls' school? It must have been hectic.
It was great when they were playing tennis. I could lay out in my bedroom, you know. The white knickers were quite interesting, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of aggro, actually. But I lived there because I like living there. It got a real nice garden and things. But eventually it was a question of moving because relations and whatnot. Nobody visit, you know. It's too far away, you know. So I moved back to Wolverhampton, you know, where I'm now. You know, where I actually come from. Well, actually I come from up here, but that's a long story. But
You come from up here?
Yeah.
You're in Stoke-on-Trent?
yeah, well, originally my parents are pottery people, see. Barliston is where my dad was born.
Yeah.
And Tunstall and Hanley and around mother.
Yeah.
And in fact there'll be some relations up here tonight. Yeah, I'm...
they
you
still
didn't know
live
that,
around
did
here?
you?
No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, that's
It originates from Stoke. I am a pottery person originally. Yeah.
Do many people know that, you think?
Yeah. Well, I think all fans know it up here. You know, because they think of me as something local. I mean, Lonnie knows it, I think, but he knows I originate from here. You know, I was actually born. I wasn't born here, but you know,
You
obviously
came
the
from here
influence
originally.
still comes from this area.
I mean, were your school days in Stoke-on-Trent?
No, but I mean, the influence of your parents are still Stoke-on-Trent. If they spend all their lives here, practically, you obviously get influenced by them, don't you?
Yeah, sure. Now, one thing that intrigues me, Noddy, how did you, in fact, get your name Noddy?
It was just a nickname at school. Everybody's always called me Noddy.
It's one of those
I don't know
things.
why, yeah.
Called a lot of other things too, but
But you still got your sideburns, of course. Is that
Yeah,
something that you
not as
reckon
long
you
as I
should
used
keep
to
as an
be.
image, or
I don't know. They're not as long as they used to be. I still like keeping them there. Saves me shaving all around every day.
yeah,
sideburns, you do.
yeah.
American stuff.
No, I've always called
Sideboards,
it.
if you know.
I've always called it sideburns.
Sideburns.
Sideboards are the things that go around the edge of the floor. They're not that long,
Good
are they,
thinking.
Noddy?
That's right. Good thinking.
Okay, well, there's not really much more I can say on that, really. I mean, it's brought me really up to date.
We got a new album coming out, by the way, in a
Yeah,
couple of weeks.
obviously,
That'll
yeah.
be called We'll Bring the House Down. It's a lot of tracks on it that we're doing on stage now, and the new tracks that we are playing on stage are going down just as well as the old hits, which is a good kick for us, you know.
Do you think that titles like that, just thinking about this one off the cuff, do you think titles like Bring the House Down and so on, incites violence. I mean, there's been quite a few groups in the paper recently mentioning no names who've had a lot of trouble because of inciting violence.
Really?
Yeah.
We don't tend to get any violence at our shows at all. It's all good fun show, you know. Never get violence.
Yeah. And talking about this new album, will it be more of a rock feel, or? Will
It's going to be all rock tracks. Yeah, all real rock tracks, rowdy tracks.
Anyway, I mean, we'll bring the house down is an old term from just the days of, you know, you went down a storm, or you went this, you know, you brought the house down. It's just a means of reaction, isn't it, from the old musical days?
Yes, great. Okay, well, Noddy and Dave, thanks very much for talking to us.